gosh, why are we going? Why are we going
13?
13? Well, I mean, okay, so tonight we're streaming to Twitch.
Okay.
And Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn.
Ooh. Look at us go.
We're on LinkedIn?
We're on LinkedIn streaming right now. Yeah.
So if I give you my stream key, can you like also stream to my channel?
Can you stream to my channel too?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
like
everywhere.
I mean, that way, like, yeah, I think it'd be fun.
I can get affiliate.
Yeah. Well, hey, and I
don't think you can add it right now, but
well, since we got started and we got to let some commercials run, I have a new countdown for us.
Ooh.
Ready for the new countdown?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Welcome in, everybody. It is your Friday Eve. It is the what? I've come up with 19th. Other things, and I've come. What is it? Huh?
It's the 19th.
It's the pre Turkey Day Thursday.
Yes. What? Ooh, I like that. Yes, 1 week to, and for little Jimmy over here, tomorrow is his last day of work for a while, so taking some vacation time.
Nice.
They took our Thanksgiving break, so.
What do you mean they took it?
Like we don't get a Thanksgiving break.
What do you mean you don't?
Like we usually have the whole week off, and now we don't.
Oh, well, welcome to the rest of the world.
Oh, we get the whole week off.
I get
in Texas, we do.
I get Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off.
I get Thursday and Friday.
Well, so what's the over under on? Oh, you guys aren't in person yet. We're in person, and I just don't think we're going back after Thanksgiving.
No.
Oh, wait. Hold on. We got to introduce ourselves first of all, right?
Do we really?
This is our first night on LinkedIn, and we're already just screwing up. We're already
up.
My name's James O'Hagan. I am the host of the Academy of Esports podcast, and I also am the director of digital and virtual learning for the Racine Unified School District. And over to my other side here, we have.
I'm Carrie Linden, otherwise known as Chakmuju. I am an ex-middle school teacher, and I am currently the communication specialist for Liminal Esports and Snowbright Studios.
And then over here we have.
My name is Angelique Giannis, at Miss Giannis on Twitter. I am a high school English teacher in San Diego, and I run our esports program and casual gaming program. Oh, and I'm a NASEF Scholastic mentor. Can't forget that.
And down below we have.
I'm Danielle Johnson. I teach middle school in Dallas, Texas, and I am now the president of TechSec. I'm going to go with executive director because I don't like the chief titles.
Ooh, okay.
So,
but you're the C3O.
I'm the person now. I'm the C3O.
You should, you know what? You really should just make that your title for TechSec. Because you're making it up what you want. Just call yourself the C3O.
You should.
See, and I was thinking human would be my title. Like Danielle Johnson, human.
Well, welcome. And though I was a little heartbroken.
Oh, were you jealous last night?
Not jealous, a little heartbroken because
because it was a girl party.
Oh, last night.
Well, okay, so it described. So I just got a message from Sam that said, "Oh, go check out Danielle's Twitch channel," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I go in there, not expecting to see, and it's like the ladies have taken over, and here's me, and I feel like I'm working in an elementary school all over again, or I'm at my CAO team because I'm the only guy in the room anyway. So anyway, talk about what that is.
So Kim and I,
Kim who?
Kim Lane Clark, who is one of the other TechSF board members, who I met in the former Twitter chat, the Esports EDU Twitter chat, and actually like met in person at Mindfair with Steve Isaacs. So we watched over the summer the Black Girls Gamer Summit and just loved it. And because normally, you're watching them game. And so this was, just the chat part that we'd kind of been doing. And so we discussed, we're like, yeah, we should do something like that. And wanted to earlier, but school started and things happened. And the other day she was just like, we should do that. Let's do it. And I was like, okay, let's do it. Who should we invite? So made a Twitter group and was like, hey guys, you want to do this? And yeah, so we just jumped on and started talking.
I recognized one person. Oh, sorry, this person. But there was Kim, and who was the other woman who was in the group with you?
Nikki. So that's Nikki three. Nikki Zachary. She is a high school teacher at a STEM school in Houston, and she is also a TechSF board member.
Awesome. So Carrie's the lone outside non-Texas person.
I was last night. Yes,
last night. Yeah.
But there are other people in the group. So
yeah, I'm gonna hop in next time.
Yeah, I won't always be.
And one of my neighbor coworker friend is also planning on joining next week, and she's not an esports person, has never done anything on Twitch. It's just I feel like she would contribute a lot to the conversation.
Yeah.
So I started thinking about it and I was like, okay, so it's a conversation about ideas with a select group of people. That's a salon. Like
essentially, like
the old school salon
identification.
And I thought that was also apt because it was.
So like the old French salons, where it was a place where everybody would gather and talk about topics of
ideas.
The day. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've done a salon dinner.
No, not like, the old term.
Not like
no, not like we're gonna
go there, which I thought was kind of a double entendre because it's the salon and the salon.
Yeah,
I gotcha. Well, here's what I love about it and here's what I love about what you just said too, is I love that this is what hopefully this chat is becoming for people, is that it becomes a place that there's a lot of fantastic, you all obviously doing such fantastic work, but not everybody ever knows who you are or knows who I am or whatever. There's a lot of regular people that we see speaking at conferences and speaking at things, and we're like, well, how do they get? Well, because they just network and do it.
Right.
So it's great to see that this hopefully is branching out. In fact, even today I messaged Danielle. It's like, a couple more shows and we'll pretty much have a network going. Yeah. Like, for example,
I was like, that kind of sounds fun, guys.
Ooh,
right.
Like, Angelique has her show about, tough English topics and esports. And Carrie's like, here's how you social media the heck out of something, or I don't know.
But so I know there's like streaming groups, like. But is there any that are just educators?
I'm sure there are.
I used to be a part of one.
I
think it would be an interesting niche.
So there was a network that was put together by four friends.
Homemade calzones.
So there was a network that was set up by four friends of mine: Scott Meach, Judy Epke, Jay Blackman, and Dan Rezak, all Illinois educators. They called it edreach.us. And we're going to let Bradford just sit here for a minute. He's trying to come in.
No, let him in.
All right.
He was gosh. In the chat. And I'm like, why is he in the chat?
So
by the way, when Jim showed up last night in the chat, Bradford, on our stream, he was like, where is my invitation? And Angelique and I were both like, it's under your bed. Or like, did you look under your bed?
Well, So there was edreach.us, and that we had a series of podcasts. Now, guess what mine was called? It was called Razor's Ed. And it was supposed to be what they wanted me to do. I was the only one doing a solo podcast, and it was to talk. It was to call out the nonsense that I saw in education, right? So I did that a little too well on some days. In fact, they were trying to get Rushton. I don't know if y'all know who Rushton Hurley is, but he's one of these, the professional speaker types, whatever. And I had seen him keynote at the ICE conference, which was the Illinois Computing Educators Conference, and I created a scathing but well-produced episode where I compared him to a snake oil salesman.
Oh, lovely!
And I actually used one of the opening scenes from the movie There Will Be Blood, and I interspersed that in, and I made him out to be Daniel Day-Lewis's character. And so, as the story goes, they're trying to pitch Rushton Hurley to be a part of the network. And they go to show him the website, and what's the first thing that pops up?
Your video?
Rushton Hurley, snake oil salesman? ?
Oh my gosh.
That's funny.
Yeah. And so all of a sudden that episode was taken down, and I was very mad.
Yeah.
Can't figure out why.
Always stirring the pot.
Always. Now, talk about stirring the pot. We have a new person down here.
Oh, Jesus.
We're streaming.
That's not his
streaming
name.
on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
What happened on LinkedIn?
We're on LinkedIn.
Oh, we're on LinkedIn. Oh,
we're everywhere right now.
Oh,
and you show up late. So all these people who are like, professionals are like, who's this person who just showed up all late?
I had car issues, literally. I was actually going to do this from my phone at the mechanic, but I finished just in time, and I was rushing. So I was like, I told my wife, I need a set of clothes out, and I need water at my desk. And I need 2 shirts, because if I don't like it, I need another option. So
you need an option.
I've literally just walked in the door.
Well, welcome to have you here. Please introduce yourself.
Streets.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. I'm coming in from these COVID streets, but I do not have COVID.
We our first staff case today.
Bradford, you haven't even introduced yourself.
Well, I just need to I said COVID.
He's got to get the list of all of his positions out so you can read it.
Oh, yeah. Let me get all what one of my program directors calls protocols and nomenclatures. So
what is happening tonight?
So we had our very first staff case today, but somehow
Bradford hasn't introduced himself yet.
But he's not gonna do it. He's taking too long.
This is Bradford Harris. He's
he's
school
all
district outside of Houston.
He's awesome.
I'm all things. I'll cook for you. I'll clean your house. I'll wash your dishes. Apparently I can get your oil change. I am a coordinator of digital innovation. I am the chief learning officer of TechSef. I am a NASEF Scholastic Fellow. Is it still NASEF, y'all?
Yeah, until January, whatever.
Oh, hey, Cody.
All right. Are we introduced now?
We are introduced. Okay. We are introduced.
All right. So Danielle, you were saying something about COVID.
Oh, I was saying we had our very first staff case today, because like my school, like some other campuses have like 40 and we have 0. So we had our first staff case today, and like I don't know who it was, but I do know that everyone that was around them got contacted and had to go home, including our entire admin, our entire counseling team, like anybody that's not a teacher basically had to leave today.
We had the first case at my son's high school. It wasn't a teacher though. It was in one of the athletic pods for the track and field.
Okay.
So yeah. And it's just getting wild.
Hey, we're not coming back until January 15th at this point.
See, in my district,
really?
we're supposed to open January 19th. We're in purple, which means we can't, but our district has already announced that they're filling out waivers right now for Santa Barbara Unified for all the K through 6. So they're going to try and push all the elementary kids back, sort of regardless of the tier. That's the plan right now. We'll see what happens, though.
Well, let's talk about, because we're all going to be either at our homes or something. And this is something that I'm really excited about. This is something I want to share with everybody because I think it needs to be seen to be believed. Okay. Are you ready for this? All right.
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
I know everybody's like, ooh, what's he going to show? I want to show off this. The Virtual Leveling Up 2020, the Esports and Education Conference and Expo, December 4th, right?
What?
Note the hashtag esportsedu.
Yeah, what is this? What?
Okay, well, let me show you. This was a conference that after, I think me and a few other people, Carrie, you were part of that when we did the whole thing this summer with Tech and Learning, and that's where we had the very uncomfortable conversation. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That's where we got married.
That's where we became esports man and wife, right? But I want you to I'm just going to scroll through this, and I want you to tell me the first thing that you notice about this. Are you ready? All right, watch this. Now, don't look at this part. Look at this part.
Don't look at this part. Look at this part. Don't look at this part.
Let me zoom in a little bit here because I want to make sure that we can all. I'll do it like this. What do you notice about speakers at this conference?
Well, I would hope, because I nagged on these people to make sure that there was going to be diversity without actually participating in the dialogue. I was really bad about not getting back to them, but I made a stink about making sure that it was diverse.
I mean, there are people in here whose voices I have not heard.
Yeah.
Somebody put white people. It's not Here Come the White People. There's
a lot more diversity in this panel lineup than you normally see in an esports lineup.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's also a lot more women involved than you normally see. Is it perfect? No, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. And there were a lot of conversations about diversity and inclusion that were had when they started planning this. So
actually, when you look at the panels, it's balanced, male and female. It's racially diverse. It is, and here's the other thing I think that's important too. Just talking about at the beginning of this, just how important it is that we have different voices. And Danielle did her big launch last night, showing off the Tesla logo and what the Tesla logo looks like. But there's voices on here of people who I have not heard from.
Yeah.
Who are we gatekeep so much in all of this.
Absolutely.
And I'm so tired of seeing conferences that cater to, well, this is a sponsor and this is a sponsor and this is a sponsor and we have to let them speak. This is not that. Now, again, I am on a panel, I will say, and there's many people whose names I did recommend on here. But it's voices of people who I have not heard from extensively. And it's not to say that they're not doing how Kathy Chang has not been sought out to be on a million different collegiate conferences. I will have no idea. She is almost unheard of, and she is a rock star at what she does. She's the one who got that whole ESC conference going.
I was going to say, she did the Discord, right?
Oh my! Well, not just that. She arranged the whole conference, and that was in all of this. That's been the best conference I've seen at all. So. It's nice to see a variety of new voices, people who I have not heard from or know about. And it's good to see the voices of the people who are coming back.
Sam's presenting.
Yay, Sam!
Yes. Sam is on there. Chris Avilas is on there. Sky is on there. I mean, Kauealoa doing amazing stuff out in Hawaii, but nobody, Hawaii he's got some amazing stuff going on out there, but because I think it's Hawaii and it's 3 time zones away from California or whatever, I don't know if it gets the love that it gets. But yeah, I'm just really excited about this one. And it's free to register. So if you people here are looking for an experience, there's the link right there to register for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, that's what I wanted. That's what I kind of wanted to show off.
That's good. That's good.
You just saying that's good. Is there other thoughts, or am I overblowing?
No. Oh. No, you're not overblowing. Look, I told you I'm just coming in from the mechanic. I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I think we need to see more of it. You know, we need bigger conferences to do that. And as you said, like, you know, I think we're all pretty familiar with the fact that keynotes tend to be the same voices over and over and over, or they're the people that are paying to have the stage. And, you know, it's nice when you get to see keynotes that aren't that, you know, where you actually got some new voices heard. So hopefully we'll continue to see that growth. You know, I know there's some of us pushing for it. So
yeah. And the one thing I hope, and the one thing that I hope that we do is, as this community continues to grow, because, you know, when one thing tends to grow, when one aspect of education grows, they always find that one person. Well, let's just have this one person keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. And some don't mind doing it because that's how they make their coin.
Yeah,
which I'm not mad at, but they end up being that go-to. There's a particular person when I first started this journey. I'm not going to mention that person's name. Danielle knows who I'm talking about. But as I first started, I was trying to reach out to that person, and that person did not contact me because that person, well, what my director said was, because I wasn't in the position that I was in, they would not talk to me. And I was like, oh, well, okay. And I think Danielle just said, you know, we got it. We'll just figure it out on our own. We don't need that. And true enough, that's what my director said. You don't need that. You got it. Yeah. Figure it out.
Such a weird thing.
But it's, I mean,
which, honestly, like, I tried to talk to him one time and he like completely ignored me. But I would love to have him work with us because he's so knowledgeable.
That's the thing.
Like, I would love it because he's so knowledgeable.
I'm intrigued.
Okay, I'm putting it in private chat. I need to know.
And he's from my hometown.
Well, and here's the other important part too of all this. The problem we've got, and I saw this maybe about a year or two ago, where there was somebody speaking at one of those professional education speakers, right? Hasn't set foot in a classroom in 30 years, but telling us how to do it now. I'll tell you how to teach in COVID. Okay, bite me, whatever. Okay. But the thing I can't stand is that now some of these people, this person, I'll say his name, Adam Welcome, was straight up asked about, oh, what about esports, Adam? Don't you tell us about esports? And he responded, oh, well, you should go check out Playverses because they have curriculum. And I of course, and tagged it as esports. And needless to say, I replied to that. I'm like, you're absolutely wrong. We need to make sure that the voices of the people who are actually doing the work need to be on the stage talking about the work that we do, and not letting somebody who has, again, either hasn't set foot in the classroom or worse, never set foot in the classroom, telling people how we do this.
And who has a financial stake in the curriculum that's being sold. Like, that's a dangerous thing. It's hard. And that's where, you know, the diversity of voices, and I was happy that, you know, the group that is putting on the December conference, they reached out to people to get feedback as to who else to include, and that's nice because it allows, like, I knew I didn't want to do, you know, with how busy everything is, it's like, okay, I'm gonna step back, but there are other voices that should be heard, and I think we all need to do that sometimes. Like, you know, when your voice is ringing too loudly, or, you know, you might be turning down an offer, but like being able to put somebody up whose voice you respect, who might not get heard a lot, because we all know there are those few people that consistently get tagged for things. You know, we know that their follower base is strong. We know that their words get heard. So it's up to us to make sure that we can push other people into those positions, because those people that are on the top aren't necessarily going to step back and let other people shine. It would be nice if they did, and some of them do. Like, you know, the really good ones will, but some do. Like, I've had people back when I was just starting drag me into conferences to be with them, and I was just this annoying chick that was out there hollering about the need for inclusivity and diversity. And it was not a voice that people needed to hear. And I don't want to say I'm not a safe bet to bring to a conference, because I am, but I'm not one that will back down from a conversation. So if you want to have a very politically correct, safe conference chat, don't bring me. Like, I'm not going to be disrespectful in any way, shape, or form. But if somebody asks a hard question, you better bet I'm not going to be on the one on the panel that's like, no. I'm going to be like, yeah, okay, let's talk about this.
He's heating up.
Yes, Carrie, when you said I'm not the one, I absolutely, yes, you are definitely not. You're the one who will make everybody uncomfortable, but rightfully so.
Yeah,
rightfully so. Yes,
we're going to talk about this. I don't do it in a clean, respectful way, but
the spicy muju.
But the spicy muju. But we're not going to avoid the hard conversations. That's not my thing.
And again, I posted it into private. There's somebody who leads off on their Twitter handle as a K-12 EdTech conference presenter.
Yeah.
Wow. Again, how do you speak to teachers having never spent one day in the classroom and tell us how to do things?
But I think it's weird that we fall for it and we go to those, like, I know the panels I don't go to. Because, like, if you think of every teacher has complained about administration that has never spent a day in their life working in class, and yet we'll pay $250 to go to a conference and listen to that same person. Like, we know better. We know better.
And
we only go because we're forced.
No, and that person
at, like, on vacation and stuff, and none of us made that decision.
And that person's a line out the door, and it's sickening because it's a line out the door for 30 apps you can use in 30 minutes or whatever, stuff like that. It's like, that's not, let's think about where we are right now. Let's think about where we are in COVID. Where the hell did that help a teacher prepare for this moment? It didn't. Yeah. By and large, that experience didn't.
I can tell you right now, we did a survey for our teachers. They said, stop with all the training. It's too much.
Mm-hmm.
And they need something that is relevant right now. So you mentioned all the 30 apps and all that stuff. They basically are saying that's a waste of freaking time.
Mm-hmm.
I need something that I can produce pretty much tomorrow. And if you can't produce that for me tomorrow, those 30 apps, the Flipgrids, and I love Flipgrid, but all these one-offs that you're going to show me, that's not going to help me with this curriculum that I need to teach tomorrow.
No, it takes you so much effort and time, personal time to learn how to use those, like Flipgrid, for example. Like, that took me a while to learn how to use. I love using it, but I use it a lot now because I'm so familiar with it. But, I feel like, especially now during COVID for distance learning, like, they're like, try whiteboard.io and blah, 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 like all these different things. And I'm like, I don't have time to even lesson plan and do my attendance, much less learn this now new program. And then I think about, like, I've always been like the techie teacher that people come ask for help for things with. And I'm like, I can't imagine being someone who is not techie. And then in this environment, like, it's just, I definitely need, like, what can I do that's going to keep my sanity for now.
Well, let alone the kids, because the kids are having to learn the technology too.
Right.
Like, you're right. If you didn't go into COVID knowing the tool, this is not the time to be trying the tool.
Yeah. And I think that's a lot of the, like,
can we say this louder for all the districts that switched LMSs over the summer?
Oh my gosh. My friend,
louder for those in the back.
My friend just switched her from Google Meet to Zoom in the middle of the semester. But like,
and that drives me up the walls, because unless something's changed with Zoom is not an accessible platform. Like, there's a lot that goes into making it accessible for anybody that's got, like, hearing impairment, like, where Google has a lot more accessibility built into it. So to take something, I don't see that transfer. I don't get it.
And
I have to constantly ask for meetings to be in Meet just for the captions.
Yep.
All the time. I'm like, no more WebEx, no more Zoom, because I can't understand some people and I need
That's me.
the
I'm
captions.
so grateful that all of our work meetings are in Google, because I
Yeah.
I can't. I get called in for other things and with other organizations, and they use every platform under the sun, and I'm the one that's over here like.
Well, you know what I found out? I was looking this up for because I teach the EL students who desperately need the captions because I'm talking way too fast, and who knows their internet's cutting out, right? They're missing so much of what I'm saying. And so Zoom actually does have auto live captions, but you have to pay for it. So I pushed for my school. I said, we need this. I need this for my EL students to be able to understand me. So we have it, but it's not something that like turns on for me to cast to the whole class. Like the kids have to go like click it on every Zoom.
Yeah.
But like to speak to what you were saying, Carrie, like for the kids too, it's just too much. Like I was planning with my student teacher the other day, and I use Pear Deck a lot. I love Pear Deck, but again, I've been using it since pre-COVID.
Right.
And so we were talking about using Pear Deck and then having them, upload a document to Canvas. And then him and I were talking, and he was like, well, what if we do like a Padlet where they can post and share their things? And I was like, that's too many things. Like, 3 things on Zoom at once, like 3 different tabs, 3 different programs. Like they're going to get lost. They're going to get confused. You just can't do that.
Trick with Pear Deck, you can embed websites.
Yeah.
So you can embed that Padlet straight into Pear Deck.
Pretty cool.
So you never have to leave the deck.
What was also amazing in all this time as we reflect back on this was just how quickly, we did sink a ton of PD time into, like, let's just say Google Apps, right? And how quickly people panicked and forgot everything that they learned. It was stunning to see just how quickly people were willing to throw things out. And again, let's talk about Zoom, right? I pushed hard against people switching to Zoom for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
One of them was because obviously it was not as secure as they were letting on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Right.
By the way, I'm dropping into our chat here. This is because Angelique will be excited to see.
Is it live right now?
This is live right now. This is our homecoming esports event that is being. The dancing here is not live, but
I was gonna say there's a lot of people there. I'm concerned.
Yeah, but Travis Witt cut up and wait till you see they've got everything in here for homecoming. They took old homecoming videos and brought it all in.
Oh my gosh, this is so cool.
And I'm sorry, I'm pausing on this because I just wanted to make sure that. So these are new dances of teachers.
Yeah. Oh, look at her doing the TikTok.
I don't know what that is.
It's TikTok.
Oh.
It's all the stuff I watch but don't do.
But yeah,
so,
is it James? Was this what one of your managers was talking about doing homecoming across district wide?
This is what Travis was talking about in our NASEF meeting.
Yeah, and I was like, that is bank. That needs to be in ISTE like right now. He was like, what's ISTE? I'm like, I need your contact information. He was like, I'm just doing this. I thought it was really cool. I'm like, no, the fact that you're doing homecoming across the district, and I think via Twitch or whatever he's doing, I was like, we monopolized the whole entire conversation. I think Jarrell kind of got mad.
Yeah, we were like, oh my God, what are you doing? Yeah.
Well, this is again, I know Travis put a ton of work into this. And again, we also have, there's Travis on the right there, but we also have events going on tomorrow night as well. And I think Boise State is going to rebroadcast, or they're going to share our stream out on their stream. So yeah, this is a ton of work that Travis and the kids put together to get this going. So
yeah, I mean, when he was telling us about it in the meeting, I was like, how are you doing this? Like, how? I was just blown away.
And they currently have 58 viewers. They have a lot more than we have. So yeah, and for a first year,
so that's a new thing for our network is we can just have one show where Angelique asks people, so how?
Yeah,
it's called Just How.
That's fine.
You just bring teachers on and ask them, just how did you do this?
How did you do that?
That's not a bad idea.
I'll take that. Yeah, sure. Love it. Tell me.
Yeah, I had a podcast like that where it was called Turn and Talk.
Turn and Talk. That's cute.
Right, it's perfect. But that's what I did. I just brought teachers on and was like, this is really cool that you're doing. Tell me about this.
So the idea for this too just came from one of our administrators at the Real School, who Park is playing tonight. And again, Real School is a school that doesn't have a football team. They don't have an athletics department. They have robotics and esports, and that's it. And the person's like, well, why can't we just do homecoming esports? And of course, because Travis is a football coach, he immediately was like, in, done, ready. But we got pushback. There was some weird pushback.
I mean, even on the internet, like I remember a couple people have been talking about doing, an esports homecoming, or could we do an esports homecoming? And it's crazy how much just pushback happens on Twitter. Like, well, you can't do that. I'm like, well, why can't you? Like,
oh yeah, I probably do need to talk to Travis about that whole Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Because he's gonna get
DMC is gonna hit him. Yeah, hit him hard.
Yeah, bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn this down a little
bit. Yeah.
But we even have, I think you'll see it here, and I'll leave this. I want to just leave it up for a moment because I think we're going to have a student sing the national anthem as well too for this. So the music department was excited about this because now they got a chance to have somebody perform, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Why again?
Why are we?
Yeah. We're not a pipeline to the pros. Let's do all this cool stuff.
What do you mean have fun with it?
Yeah. Yeah, have fun. Like, this is supposed to be fun, right?
Yeah, it is supposed to be fun. I mean, that's just it. It's gaming. Gaming is supposed to be fun. Gaming with people is supposed to be fun. We're living through a year that is categorically not fun. Being able to provide kids and staff with the opportunity to play is unbelievably important because everyone's at the end. I think right now everyone is like really fragile because across the nation, everybody is backsliding. Like California just got a curfew aside as of like it starts Saturday, but we were notified today. Like it's weird. Like even talking to coworkers, people are back in that place we were in March where you're like, oh my gosh, this is happening. And people are revisiting those feelings, that mental and emotional state, because, we're kind of going back to that of like, no, we're locking down. You're entering into the holiday season, which is often one of the roughest emotional seasons for people to begin with. Like, we need this. We need to be able to play. We need to be part of a community. And why more and more people aren't falling back on the digital side of that, I don't get it. Like that's where we can meet right now, and people need it.
My students and I are organizing a Staff Among Us stream.
Oh, wow.
And I'm gonna pull their videos from Zoom so the staff can just log into Zoom to make it as easy as possible, and we're gonna run a stream and it's gonna be fun. We'll see.
Now, I'm not gonna say which student it is, but also some of the things you don't figure out because we have some new kids to the program and we haven't got to meet them yet face to face. One of the kids faked his pictures in this video, but I'm not gonna say which kid it is, but it's not him. So, yeah.
Is this Travis?
This is Travis calling this out. Here, we'll bring this up just so y'all can hear this real quickly.
Sophomore Ramon Castro.
Yeah. So I'll bring it down. So yeah, I mean, there's production value to this. This is fun, and this is the one thing I hope that we'll be able to do in the future is this becomes district wide, right?
Yeah.
More kids. There was a lot of teacher work that went into this. Yeah. But we're hoping to have more students on this as well too. So,
and I mean, it's so much, they could be involved in so many different ways. Like this is, yeah.
So I was amazed. I was like,
no, it's
Bradford cool went off. He was like, you need to tell me everything right now. I'm giving you my number. Here's my address. Come over to my house.
I did.
My man.
And drove like,
so when we host our own like academic esports conference, guys, we definitely need like the full rundown on this with like feedback from all the kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Absolutely. So, I think if people want to go over and watch this, I'll drop the link into the chat. You don't have to leave right now, but you can if you want to.
Please stay for another 20 minutes.
Yeah. Again, I think they're going to do. Oh, they must have. Oh, wait, here it is. National anthem. I mean,
Awesome.
I feel like I got to get up and salute, but
Is that live?
no, they recorded this.
Okay.
Yeah, but still, I mean, the fact that this is in the production value, that this is part of it, that again, Dr. Gamer Doc Lindsay Miglior, she said, if you're not going to take yourself seriously, who is? And so showing off something like this, showing that we are taking this seriously. Now, what's the message to the administration at Park High School? What's the message to the student, Isabel Martinez, who is not a scholar gamer, but is part of the movement now, is part of the culture, is part of this first time thing. I mean, this is, God,
Cool.
And I didn't tell, this is the best part about this, is I didn't tell these people to do this. They just sorted it out and figured it out for themselves. I mean, that's the best part. Has been other people start to like pick this up and do things with this. So yeah, the work we're doing is good work. Anyway, so yeah,
Meeting students where they're at, meeting people where they're at.
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of, I'm considering like moving my synchronous classes to Twitch because they can be so much more active in the chat, and that's where my kids already are.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they're watching when they're not paying attention.
Oh,
to class.
yeah.
I can see it.
What was that? Patrick talked about that at TCCA. I was like, hands down. He's so very humble. Oh, well, I just did. I said, no, sir. You need to talk about this. You need to talk about this as a longer session, because he talked about it for like 2 seconds. I was like, no, sir. No, sir. You need to talk about this for a lot longer. It was really good. It was so good that I had to drop my headphones and go talk to my director about it. I was like, what? Yeah, there's so much more that you can do on YouTube and Zoom and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Said, let's look into it.
So much, you can do so much more in the chat, and it's like gamified participation in chat, which is exactly what we want.
But wait, what about
the cameras?
I'm not worried about the cameras. But what about the accessibility of others to come into the space?
Since I'm not revealing
when you blow
anything,
up though, you're going to be like Ninja and can't even read the stream. Your kids are going to be like, can't even go in there.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it would be more, I don't know. We're going to try it like 2 days after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So I talked to the kids about it and was like, I want your feedback and your ideas about doing this, because I've been using OBS to do my meets so that I can have more information on the screen at one time and also like include myself.
Yeah.
Well, what about like with this? I mean, we're running this to 5 different locations. I mean, why give kids one place to participate when they can have 5 places?
Right. I could do it to YouTube. I could do it to this. And like StreamYard has its own streaming thing. So if kids don't want to go to anything else, like StreamYard has its own.
Yeah, and I think that was my question about Twitch, because I've toyed with that, like thinking about how I could make that happen. But not all kids have a Twitch account, so then you kind of run into that. And so the ability of random people to get in your chat too, like I mean, you could have it on followers only for like a long amount of time, but I'm more so like, the kids, not all kids have Twitch accounts, so
it cuts down on who can converse.
But it would be so cool, like you have all of the, what are they called? The little like animations that can pop up on your screen, or like
notifications.
Like I watch a stream that like when you're getting their like currency as you're watching, then you can redeem it and change the color of the LEDs in the room. Like kids would love that.
Yeah. I
actually like talked to a guy that's at PPCD, so like the like special ed for preschool teachers. And I met him at the Galveston Esports Expo that I spoke so highly of, right? So he's streaming and has like this crisis corner? And is like, the girls' corner.
Is that your banner picture for your new show now?
Yeah.
It's the girls' corner.
The girls' corner. Yeah.
And so I was just chatting with him while he was having some technical difficulties. And he was like, yeah, I'm a teacher too. So we get talking. And so he's got to do all of his sessions now because he goes in home, virtually with preschoolers. And so he uses OBS and makes it super interactive. So like knows all the characters that they like and has them like ready with all of the stuff. Like when they respond, he has stuff flash on the screen. Yeah. Like they say a letter and it comes up.
Wait,
like,
how? What?
Yeah, I mean, if you run OBS and do notifications, there's so much stuff that you can have ready to kick on or that automatically kicks on. You can essentially run a children's show.
And that's exactly what he said he wants to do. Yeah. Like, and he started telling me about some YouTubers that are like children's shows. Yeah. It was like this guy and this guy and this guy. And that's like what I want to be. So it was interactive Sesame Street.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
And that's yeah. I mean, I think that's where we should go if we are stuck here. But again, right, like coming back to my same point, the amount of time it takes to learn these things is, trumping all of it. Which is, I mean, I would, is overtaking.
We're gonna have to come up with like another vocabulary.
But like, if I was compensated, I would sit down for 30 hours and learn that, and figure it out for sure. But
you could do like Gilad was saying, what they get how many hours of professional development a year?
405,
120 hours of PD.
3 months of PD a year.
Right.
Imagine what you could do with that. Though.
I know, but like if you could choose what you wanted to focus on.
Well, it could be meaningful PD because normally you get the introduction to tech and then you never see the tech again. And that, to me, it speaks to what Bradford, you were saying about like the Google. We've all had PD on it, but how quickly you forget it. I'm like, well, yeah, because people don't use it every day. Like if you used the interactive whiteboard every day, or you used, the smart TV every day, you would know how it works and you would know what you can do with it. But more often than not, we're given this very superficial, bells and whistles introduction to a technology. And then that's the end of our support. Unless we want to spend, after hours and schedule appointments and not be getting paid for that sort of, one-on-one IT help, which it's just not, it doesn't promote real growth. So I think, you see the people.
So that's what I did for 3 years was the one-on-one help for teachers. Yeah. Like that was my entire job. And it's actually like a model that we did with Google to create. It's now the Google certified coaching program.
Yeah.
But my school was ready for COVID. And we didn't have a problem. Not the teachers, not the students, like making sure they all had internet and the stuff that is outside of our control. But like, as far as the teaching went, like we nailed it in the spring.
Yeah.
But we came up with an entirely new model for how to do IT or how to do digital professional development in school.
Are you gonna leave us on a powder keg again?
No, it can't. We teased this
we
last
have 10
week.
minutes.
Oh man.
Oh. Well, I had my say on this last week, and Danielle said she was going to tear me apart this week. I don't know.
You overstate. But okay, so my point is,
all right, wait. Let's
throw it off.
Let's talk about what this is again. HSEL, Generation Esports. They have we'll call it a grant. I talked to Jason about it yesterday. It is a grant for 25 schools across the country to get 6 gaming computers, the parts, the peripherals needed to build it, the instruction on how to build it. The one issue that I raised was around Army National Guard as sponsors. And I did some research.
Okay.
The research I did, I have a friend of mine who used to run a junior ROTC program at Farragut High School in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And I said, have you ever seen the military fund anything like this before in schools for a tangible product? Not a program, not like,
not like the STEM thing.
No, this is a brand. This is totally new. And that to me also gets my spidey senses tingling a little bit more, just because it becomes a slippery slope. If this is successful, are we talking about more militarization of? I see a slippery slope, but
and I understand your slippery slope, but the military, thankfully, has stopped sponsoring NASCAR. Not only is it like an environmental shit show, pardon, but like
Wow.
they weren't getting their return. So I feel like there's a difference between
Is that a house phone?
Is that Carrie?
I'm hard. Yeah, that's me. If it's loud and obnoxious, that's me. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
All right.
So I feel like this is entirely different from like military recruiting and like sponsoring NASCAR, because I feel like this is an actual investment in a community. Like it's a tangible investment in a community. Like I know we were like brainstorming one day about like where we could get puts land centers. We're like, if they turned every Army recruiting station into a land center, like that would be amazing.
I actually pitched that idea to
maybe it was you I was talking with. I don't even remember.
No,
but like,
it was me,
I think that would be amazing because that's an actual investment in a community. It's not just mining a community for resources. And I feel like this is an investment in a community. And I am all for it.
Okay. I get that again, but
and I am so like anti-military, like I have no idea.
I have so many students who've been so successful in serving in the military. Like
I do too. Militarization. I'm sorry, not military. Militarization. I'm not. I don't want people to become billionaires off of it. But I'm okay with it. I feel like.
Well, and this is what it comes down to ultimately, right? Here's what it ultimately comes down to. This was my point. This isn't something you, as Danielle Johnson, just goes and applies for and then presents to the principal and says, oh, look what I got. Because that is a potential, again, I'll use your phrase, shit show. The problem is, again, because there are people like myself who may go, oh, Carrie's back. Okay, sorry. There she is. Oh, wait, let's move her back where she was. That makes me feel better. Okay. We said, Carrie, that the military was calling you. I forgot where I was going with, but I just worry so much that if there isn't the proper conversations with your stakeholders, there's going to be that one stakeholder who blows this all up in a way that makes your esports program potentially at risk even of itself and under additional scrutiny. That's where I think my big concern lies.
Well, and I don't know if you guys talked about it, but I think one of the key things is knowing what access they have to crucial information. Like, what is the involvement? What rights do they have? What access to information they have? Because if it's just them throwing money at a program, we're going to see more companies, organizations, and entities do this because we're switching over to a marketing system where you have to have a purpose and you have to show the receipts. So like you actually have to be doing something towards what you're talking about. So we're going to see more semi-controversial, organizations pop up and be like, we want to fund this because this is now part of branding. So with something like that, the key thing is like, what does it mean? If they're just putting the money there to be doing something good, well then great. They're putting the money there to do something good. If in return, they're also getting access to the information of the students who are enlisted or demographic information for the schools that are applying, then it's potentially, problematic. So I think if you're looking at applying to it, you need to ask those questions and find out.
Also very important to look at, and I don't know if you see this. I don't think you see this window. I'll show this one here. Down at the very bottom of the grant, they do have some of the terms of what this is, the official rules, if you will. Now, here's what's interesting. These rules read more like a sweepstakes than a grant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do.
Again, no purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to only legal residents of the United States and or its outlying territories. That's not how typically a grant reads.
No, it's not how a grant reads. No.
Yeah.
There's a couple other things that I saw on here that, again, raised some of my spidey senses. First off, entrants must not disparage sponsor or any other person or party affiliated with the campaign. That doesn't ever show up in a grant typically.
No.
There was also something about one limited winner selection. There was something about you had to actually send in photos of your kids.
Hmm.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
And I went, ooh, wait a second. Why can't I just give you my demographic information or something? I don't want to necessarily send pictures of my, because what
Or
do
a
those
picture of
pictures,
the empty room or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
well, because again, what do those pictures become? Do they become then part of the campaign? Does my child, a student who trusts me to, again, make the best choices I can, does that then become something that is used, they're used in a campaign?
Right. Right.
That become a property of HSEL or property of the Army. Now, as far as prize value goes, you're talking about $11,000, okay, for 6 computers that you can build. Is $11,000 worth, again, the potential? And here's the other thing too, not just the potential of an issue blowing up in your face, figuratively, not literally, but what about, does this then signal to the military that it's open season and that schools are a playground where we can be then used for other things outside of recruiting, outside of the very strict rules that we have around SLAs?
But I mean, you're seeing that, I think, with more than just the military, and it's going to continue to be that. It's,
So I think that, I think that's what James. So James, I think you're concerned, and I think that's where Carrie's going. I don't know if you're more. I think you're more concerned with the outside entities coming in more than just military, because I think you got your district hat on, because I have my district hat on too, and you're seeing this from a district global perspective. Because I'm like, I was mad that you took the screen off because I was reading, because I think because I actually need to print and highlight and circle and
the links in the chat.
So I think
I'll do that, but I was going to see, like, is there more contact information, because all those questions you're asking, there needs to be somebody to call and
get clarification.
Well, I will be, again, to be fair, Jason Kirby answered all of my questions. In fact, I interviewed him on the podcast and I brought up many of these concerns, and he answered them. And again, it's not that I'm against military, but I am against, I don't want to say
any sort of corporate.
You're against selling our children.
Yeah.
Our children are not resources to be mined.
But I think that, to me, that speaks more towards a need for policy around what we allow in education. When I was in high school,
hold on, I was worried. Wait, I'm sorry, I have to stop. I thought Angelique's shoulders had disappeared for a second. She was, I'm like, what happened to her arms? Is the camera broken? Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Carrie. So
when I was in high school, our district had a contract with one of the companies that owns fast food restaurants. So that meant that our hot lunches were provided by Taco Bell, I think it was like Pizza Hut, and a burger chain. So it was, the different fast food restaurants that were owned by the same conglomerate. So if you had hot lunch, that's what you ate. Like, there wasn't healthy meals. Like, this was just what, you went and you got your bean burrito or your steak taco or whatever it was. And then eventually, obviously, California was like, well, this isn't healthy, and 2, this is not, like, we can't do this. But, we had soda vending machines. Like, there were these contracts with corporate entities.
I drank so much Crystal Pepsi in high school.
Oh, yeah. And I think, so for me, it's more like, as this stuff starts to spill into education, it's going to show a need for policy around, who we partner with and how, and what that footprint is like, to make sure that, it doesn't become a predatory environment, because a lot of companies, like, kids are the upcoming consumers. And, that next step is going to be having, all the sport drinks getting hawked to school students. Like, there's just so much there, because it's a consumer base that people want to lay a foundation with. And as educators, it's our job to make sure that that's not happening on our school grounds.
And it's not.
So, James, let me ask you this.
Don't forget this. Don't forget this. U.S. Navy will spend its advertising dollars on esports and YouTube and dump Super Bowl. I mean, this is where it's going.
I'm going to ask you this. So I have not listened to the podcast, and you
I
said
haven't
you got
released
all-
it yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, not trying to call him out or anything, but you said you listened, you got all your questions answered, and I'm sure it was a great podcast. But do you feel comfortable after getting your questions answered to move forward with anything?
No.
You personally.
He's like, no.
No. And again, it's not just the military part. It's the
Right.
it's the request for the photos. That to me was very like I think what they're trying to do is again trying to make sure that the demographics or whatever, or the optics are diverse or whatever it is. But again, you don't need photos to do that.
No, and if it read like a grant, then okay. Like, because with grants, there's certain things that you have to provide, and in some cases, graphics are part of that. But that doesn't read like a grant. Like you said, it reads like a sweepstakes. And for sweepstakes, there is absolutely no reason that you should be including any sort of personal information of that way for your students. So, you know, there's a disconnect in what it's being called versus what it looks like it's being run like.
Well, and I ran it past all of my general managers, and not one of them was going to hop on it.
No,
Which, I mean, I tried to, again, be as impartial as I possibly could, and not one of them was like, yep, let's do it.
Yeah.
Not one.
And what were their reasons? Why?
It was the military. I mean, again, you're going to find communities where this is going to be welcomed with open arms.
Oh, yeah.
And fine. If you've talked to your stakeholder, if your stakeholders are fine with it, then fine, do it. I'm not telling people not to.
Right.
But again, this whole thing that we do is so fragile. It is so freaking fragile that one misstep, one thing where we don't dot an I or cross a T, there's going to be somebody there happy as hell to kill it because they don't like it, or we're taking something from them. Or, you know, I had one of my kids, Jasmine, great softball player, right? She dropped softball for esports. Do you think that that was easy for her? It wasn't.
No.
It wasn't. And if Travis loses kids from football over to esports, to me, I'm like, so what if you do? Because it's the kid's choice. Are we here for yourselves and your ego and your football team, or are we here for the kids?
Right.
It's just so, we have to be so careful. Everything is so fragile. And again, that one thing that we do wrong gets magnified a million times over and becomes the narrative, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think for me, I think I'm with Danielle. I'm not so much worried about the military part. I'm worried more about what information is being put out there, and that information that you showed us needs to be reworded. They need to have some EDU eyes on it to make it feel like, okay, this is a grant and what the true purpose of it is. That would be for me. And I agree with you, James. Like, everything that we do, all our I's need to be dotted, all of our T's need to be crossed. So in this space is still so new. I mean, think about when we first hit COVID, that I was going to say this earlier. That's when all the ed tech companies were jumping on board. Try this.
Everything was free.
Everything was free.
And the security was not existent.
Right. And I had to stop a whole bunch of principals and teachers said, stop. You're doing way too much. Here is our platform. Here is the stuff we purchased. Use this first. Well, can we get a training on this? No. Why can't we purchase this? No. I almost had to cuss some people out. No. We've made this. Your program directors have bought this. Why aren't you using it? Well, this is free over here. We want our kids rostered in it. No. And quite frankly, I told some companies, like, I get it. You have to make your money, but this is not the time to go on Twitter and start saying we got all of this free stuff and you're violating student privacy. Don't do it. Teachers don't know what they're doing. Some of them don't know what they're doing in regards to some of this stuff. So James, you're right. We need people like you, all of us in here, to really go, okay, I question this. Mm-hmm. I think the idea is great, but here's this one word or one phrase that this could get me in a lot of trouble. Not the district, not the admin, because they'll still be here. I'll get fired.
Yeah.
I'll be on the news. That'd be the problem.
It's like with that whole the whole eFuse thing, and I brought up eFuse and their alignment with Keemstar, or AVGL and Dr. Disrespect, and I said, look, for you guys who get the money and are running a business, totally fine, whatever you want to do. But me as an educator, if one of my board members or a parent or a teacher draws a line to Keemstar or Dr. Disrespect and say, wait, you're doing business with this company, because we don't have to deal with this in education.
Right.
Pearson doesn't have a Dr. Disrespect. Pearson doesn't have a Keemstar backing them. We've been doing business with Pearson for years. We don't have to check those things. We have to check these things out, because guess what? Just like kind of what you were saying, when that blows up, they get to just walk away and keep doing business. Mm-hmm. We are the ones who pick up the pieces. We are the ones who have to then make things right. Yeah. We have to have they don't have to have the difficult conversations. At that point, a parent or a school board member or an administrator doesn't give a damn what they say. They'll say is, cut them off, and now we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So. And all it takes is one.
And this is why I approve of the military versus a lot of these companies, because as controversial as it is,
like the companies that approach us that are in dispensaries and gambling,
right? Yeah, I mean, it's just we're at a point right now.
Bros. Like, there are lots of bros in the military, but they don't allow Confederate flags. So I'm kind of on board.
And we've talked about it before, and I feel like we could have a whole chat about it. When the pro esports world merges into the EDU world, like in the pro esports world, being connected to pot branding is totally normal. Being connected to energy, drink branding, totally normal. Being connected to gambling, also, fairly acceptable, depending on whether you're an athlete or not. So, but realizing that when you make that pathway down to EDU, those things don't vibe.
Not okay.
in the EDU world, and no matter how much.
It's a moral contract.
Oh yeah, like it's hard.
There is a moral turpitude clause in that contract, just like there is a moral turpitude clause in my contract.
Yep. And getting people to realize that.
Oh dang! I've been doing this wrong all 20 years, and I just made it. Woo.
You don't have a moral turpitude clause in your contract?
Oh no, I do.
Okay, I was going to say, I feel like we all do.
Oh, we all do.
Well, if you are an educator and you haven't actually read your contract, that is a really big issue, and you should correct that very soon.
Let's say this. Even if your contract doesn't have one, there is one implicitly implied. It is very much implied that you will be the I mean, this goes back to 1800s where, the one-room schoolhouse where the schoolmaster could not be married and they couldn't drink and they couldn't smoke and they had to be like this model.
You still see teachers getting fired for posting a picture of themselves with a beer on Instagram,
or in their bathing suit.
Yep.
Or on Hulu. Oh wait, no, we don't want to talk about.
Oh my God! We can't go there today.
We can't go.
Can't go there today.
We've had a very lively conversation tonight. It is 9 minutes over. And but again, we always seem to find our rhythm in the last 30 minutes of everything. It's like we hit our Danielle.
No. You feel like that the same way we do with projects. You get a lot more done in the 2 hours before it's due. It's one of the cognitive biases.
Our chatter has gotten exponentially longer. I feel like we squirrel for the first 20 to 30 minutes, and then we're like, oh crap, we're running out of time. Let's do this.
Just like our kids do with projects.
Oh yeah, that's where we are.
I mean, straight up. We are large middle schoolers.
Yep.
But you know what? I think again, this is where education differs.
Almost every middle schooler I've ever met, but yeah, okay.
This is where education differs, where the role of a teacher differs from that of a professional. We are working in separate school districts. We work in separate areas, but the common themes and threads that we face and see every day are things that we can relate to.
Yeah.
Just like a doctor would, just like a nurse would, just like a police officer, firefighter. People, though, who are involved in esports, let's just take that esports side. yeah, they can talk about common things, but their experiences are all going to be completely different.
Yeah.
And so we have this unique thing of where we can bounce off each other, all these things that are happening in our lives, and we'll go, oh, well, we had that, yeah, that I've seen that, or we've done that, or ooh, tell me more about that. It's a rabbit hole for us. And maybe I've got to be like the old McLaughlin group where I just have like note cards and I say first topic and then just say what the first topic is, and then you have to talk about it. If anybody goes off topic,
oh Lord.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
This is not a presidential debate. You can't.
No, and sometimes we go over. Yeah,
we did, and that's fine because we can. Sorry, internet, we went over.
That was one of the things that like really stood out to me when I was in Singapore last year. Was there were teachers from all over Southeast Asia and teachers that were like U.S. expats that taught in Asia, and it was crazy that I was talking to another tech coach, and he was like, we're really struggling getting our elementary schools to, start using Seesaw more and these things. And I was like, you teach in Vietnam. I teach in Dallas, and we're having the same thing, getting our elementary school teachers to switch over to Seesaw. And so it turns out like getting kids to do their math is hard in every country in the world.
Right.
I'm just it's just
like it's the same, not just in the US, but like worldwide. Middle schoolers are weird.
But what can they
all
do
teachers know it?
Oh wait, in different countries though, they have different tax that they can take to make kids do their math. Like Singapore, I would not want to be a student in that country necessarily.
I would. Those schools were amazing.
Come on,
like
if you can cane somebody for spitting chewing gum out on the ground, no, thank you.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Nothing. Oh,
I did not take my weed too.
Right.
I said that out loud, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Dang it. I thought we were off.
No, we're on.
No, we're still on. And I'm no longer welcome in Singapore. So,
they like everybody.
Well, we got time. We're already over. Let's just do some final thoughts. Hey, why not? Bradford.
See, I knew you were going to call me, so I was ready.
Well, you were late to the party, so we'll let you have the first outs.
Don't be tardy for the party. So just make sure that when it comes to anything like grants, applications, like we just talked about, make sure that you are looking at the fine print, dot every I, cross every T. Not everything is good for students. So that's all I got.
I am super. Wait, I'm going to say mine really quick, just because I am stunned at what I'm seeing right now. I'm gonna raid over there in a little bit, but Park High School has 75 viewers, right? But I have some other channels up. I mean, they're beating. Hold up. They're beating Aaron Ashley Simon. She's got 10. Case High School has 10.
That makes me feel better about.
Twit has 45 viewers right now. So Park has more viewers than some people who have been streaming for quite a bit. This is good to see. So
that's cool.
That's my final thought. Yay, we're gonna raid over there in a little bit. Carrie, what do you got?
I'm gonna drop. Okay, so I dropped that in. So because we've been talking about like security and safety, so Snow Bright Studio, Liminal Esports, participated in the Day One project. If you're not familiar with it, it's an accelerator program that helps to create like memos that go to incoming administration to help push policy change. And so ours is basically focusing on securing the nation's educational technology. There's a lot of different components to it that we've put in the memo. We definitely reached out to a lot of people, both in the education and gaming industry on the front end. Before we wrote the memo, we worked with several high school students that helped us through the process of drafting. It's hopefully we're looking at finding great ways to secure the safety of the technology that we use, as well as make it easy for teachers and districts to adopt already approved safe technology. So it should make it like faster. You should be able to go and be like, oh, that's already got a safety seal on it. I can go and use that, instead of having it be a long drawn out process with IT and districts. On top of that, if you don't follow Liminal, do, because there's going to be more. Like as we dig into policy, with the transition into the new government, we're going to be tapping people to get feedback and information and fill out surveys. We're definitely very active in education policy. So, if you're paying attention to our channels, you have the potential of having your voice be heard in the work that we do, which I think as educators, that's great. The more diversity in the voice that we can have, the better represented the work that we produce is.
Angelique.
If you are a company trying to approach an educator about esports, I think before you do that, it is a good idea to have someone who is in education on your board or part of your company so that they can inform you of how to do it correctly and the avenues you should and should not take before trying to get involved with schools and children.
We need to just dive into it one day.
Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna clip that and just make that a little highlight. And just, yeah.
I mean, the first thing that I do is I Google that company and I'm like, nope.
Yep.
Nope. 5 seconds. Nope.
There you go.
Yeah, you and me both. It's a deep dive, and the stuff you find is often very scary.
But that's the thing. It doesn't I don't even need to deep dive to know right off the bat, like, no.
Yeah, sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's one search.
45 minutes later, we're going to be talking about this still.
No. We need to
come back.
We need to talk about it. Yeah.
Yes. Danielle, C3O of Esports, please give us your final thought for the last end of the night.
Be smart next week.
Yeah.
Don't see your family.
Yes.
Thanksgiving dinner means Christmas funeral. Hey, listen, I'm not done yet.
Oh, I know, but we're not going to have a show next week. I'm just realizing.
Why not?
Because it's Thanksgiving.
Oh,
but I'm not going to be doing anything.
We're going anywhere.
Well, we could do a Thanksgiving show. Why not?
I mean, I'll be around.
We can all
but
this turkey.
my statement was going to be Thanksgiving dinners, Christmas funerals.
Yeah.
So be smart.
Yeah.
Ooh. I need you to make a Canva and tweet that out.
I give you permission.
I asked you to do it.
I know.
I saw this thing the other day that was like, if you're freaking out about a second lockdown and that it's impeding your social life, then you're the reason we're going into a second lockdown.
Yeah.
We can all bring our
quarantine
favorite recipe to chat next week.
Well, and that might get Sam out because Sam and I have been talking about doing a cooking show here for quite a while. So we'll see if we can do that. Thanks everybody for being here. Thanks for checking in. Those of you who watched on LinkedIn, yes, I know we had a less than professional start to this, but it was fun and that's what we do. So suck it up, Buttercup, and enjoy the fun. All right, we're gonna raid over to
LinkedIn is where Jim stirs the pot. Guys, you want to see some pot stirring, follow him on LinkedIn. It is kind of fun. He goes ham on people and everything that's posted that's all white people. Jim's so what's wrong with this picture? And all the screenshots he posts other places, that's real time. It's happening in LinkedIn. You're not getting the screenshots later. You're watching it happen.
Hey, we got to open people's eyes wherever we can. So we're going to raid over to Racine Park Esports. If you're on Twitch, stick around and see the fun that's going on over there. Thanks again, everybody. And we will be back again next week for the Thanksgiving show.
Yay!
So, bye.
2 viewers ready to raid. 7. Wow, 7. Raiding and raid now. And look at us, we're raiding in. Okay, and I guess I better